Already, it's working. Yeah, man. I'm gonna let y'all come back in. I apologize, man. It's like my homegirl, my sister was hitting me up, and I didn't know how to turn down a video call without canceling out on the Facebook Live, because I don't be doing this that often, so I don't really know how this works. All this phone stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I'm going to just be on here a few more minutes for if anybody wants to reach out or say anything from what I was saying. If you was keeping up with the last video, you know, I just really want to get on that same wavelength with y'all. And like I said, for those that's just now tuning back in, I apologize, man. You know, my sister was blowing my phone up. Not blowing my phone up, but she was hitting me up. And, you know, I was trying to tell her to hold on, but I canceled out. You feel me? But anyways, back to business. Man, I'm trying to build, man. Like, that's what I'm really about. So, I saw a few in the last video was talking about, okay, was talking about they about that self-sufficient life. Well, just hit me up. You know what I'm saying? Hit me up if you really about it, man, because we got to see who's really about it. We got to see who's about self-sufficiency and not depending on the system, not depending on the matrix. And it's a lot of pseudo science, folks. Peace and love, King, one love. You know what I'm saying? I'm on here talking about how we need to unify and embrace this shift going on and get back to nature. And we need to be able to build one with the land, like how we do at New Waters. You know what I'm saying? But we got to be able to master a skill or a trade and be able to come together as one, you know, and get off all the bullshit, you know, all the egos and the stuff, you know, all the illusions that be dividing us and everything. And we need to unify, man, and stop empowering the system so we could get off this hamster wheel. And I'm going to keep on saying it too, you know what I'm saying, because everything I'm doing, like, I'm so passionate about it because it's my lifestyle, you know. I'm going to school for it now. You know, the way I've switched up as far as this paradigm shift, I changed so much even within the last couple months, but especially over the past couple years. Like, man, it's a huge difference. And shit, I feel like we all really need a clean house. And I'm just trying to be this positive reinforcement, this reminder, this reflection of, you know, we got to really master our skill or a trade that we could contribute and bring to the table for this shift, you know, to make things better and to contribute, you know what I'm saying? And we got a clean house and be able to face ourselves to cancel out them toxic habits and replace that with a healthier alternative. You feel me? And that's an important thing because I had to do it. And it's always room for improvement. I'm far from perfect, and I'm still in the balancing process, you know, trying to get myself right, you know what I'm saying? So every time I speak to anybody, I be speaking to myself at the same time. I ain't pointing to you without a finger pointing to me as well, because we all responsible. We self-responsible. And I don't feel like we should depend on this system, you know, like to make or break us. Like, we make or break ourselves by what we allow into our inner world. You feel me? And we gotta really stand for some shit. You know what I'm saying? We really gotta stand for some shit. If y'all saw my last music video, it was about family. And I feel like that's an important thing, because even though I don't got a queen or no children or nothing yet, you see like what the system and the results, how it's taking a toll, especially in the black communities. You know, all these broken homes and everything, and it's taken away from the balance of life, which is very important. The masculine and the feminine, father, mother, child. And you know, so and it's cool to be breaking up families too. Like, you see how these dudes like, I'm gonna take your girl, or, you know, I know you got a man, or I know you got a girl, but I still want to talk to you. Like, that shit is going against the natural order and the balance of things. You know what I'm saying? And that's what's glorified as cool. And why does it have to be that way? And why do we condone, like, why do we let that slide? You know what I'm saying? I don't get it, but I understand it though. I understand because it's part of the programming. And that's what the system wants to see happening. Like, my parents, Last month on the 25th was their 26th anniversary. And they went from a small little 1-bedroom apartment in the hood to stacking up, putting their money together to a little 3-bedroom house in my old hood, Fondren Park, which is where I adapted all my ways from and everything. It could be considered a neighborhood, but got some hood ways in it. And then, 20-some years later, after stacking up 2 as one as a team, now they got them a nice little 2-story house with a pool in the backyard, and that's cool. But I look at it like, what if they would have invested in some land or something, or if they wouldn't have spent money on extra shit, you know what I'm saying? If they would have stayed investing in healthiness and they would have raised me into a healthy state of being and not, but they were mentally indoctrinated too. So I can't really blame them. But then again, we all got it in us to break the cycle of that self-deception and that self-ignorance. And so that's why I'm glad that I learned, and I'm 24 years old now, knowing what I know. So when I do have children, they ain't gonna be on the shit that I was raised and inherited to think was the truth or what to believe in. You know what I'm saying? Because the truth is in nature. The truth is in self. It's within. When I go out to nature, that's when I get that spiritual connection that I never received going to some church house. Like going to nature, learning how to, grow my own food, just getting connected, planting my feet in the earth, or just meditating, or just doing positive things, helping the community get back in order, taking a stand against gentrification, or getting checking myself. That, I feel like that's the work of God. Straight up. Christ not as in Jesus Christ, but Christ as in a state of consciousness, or higher being, or just, us, our righteous self. I don't know how to break it down, but y'all feel me though, just the divinity within us. And we all need to get together on that same wavelength, and we all need to really come together and be about that, and not be so caught up in the crack of this or this or that, which I understand. I feel the frustration, because I be wanting to call these white folks crackers too. And this is coming from, my skin complexion. And I be wanting to, and don't get it twisted. I salute Kaepernick for kneeling down for the flag, because I don't support or respect that flag either. I don't. And I don't salute nothing it stands for. And these school systems, I ain't about that shit. These doctors and everything, they're nothing but some con artists. You know what I'm saying? They really killing folks. Man, these doctors are killing a lot more innocent people than these policemen. And these policemen don't get no pass either. But these doctors, man, I'm telling you, when I'm talking about hundreds of thousands of people for keeping them patients, keeping folks sick. And man, this girl's still calling me, man. Hold on. She gonna have to wait. She gonna have to wait, cause this is important. I just wanted to say this. And I just wanted y'all to know that I'm on this vibe, and this is where I stand. And if anything happens, y'all know this is what I stand for. What I say is what I'm about, and it's how I live. It's what my frequency patterns reflects. And if you ever choose to lock arms and connect with me, I'm about this shit. I'm about the anti-matrix. I'm about getting back to nature. Like I said before, I wish I was up there, and standing with Standing Rock, man, because how they tearing down nature is crazy, man. For real, bro, it's crazy. And I mean, shit, we gotta do better. Like we really gotta get our shit together, man. And it can't always just be the blame game either. Like, what are we gonna do about it? You feel me? What are we gonna do? Because these folks, man, yes, they're the cause of us, or they use us against us, which is why I'm going to their school and learning the knowledge to not need them, which is I'm turning the table on them, I'm milking their ass, I'm using them against them. And I'm not even paying for it because, yeah, my dad went through the system in the Navy, so he got that Hazelwood benefit, so I'm going to Houston Community College for free. You know what I'm saying? But I'm learning how to be self-sufficient, doing these solar panels and tiny houses, carpentry, electrical, masonry, all that stuff. So, and I'm also trying to connect, and I'm learning like agriculture, being a naturalist, like just some naturalist type stuff. So if it ever happens, we should have some land, or we should have a situation to where we ain't gonna take a blow if the economy crashes, because we ain't just all the way dependent on their system and their money and holding their hand. You know, a lot of these folks is like, oh shit, food stamps, they disconnect the food stamps, or the money ain't worth shit. $100 bills is not toilet paper. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And folks would be just petrified, like, oh shit, like what are we gonna do now? But if you was to focus on building a well even before the drought, you know what I'm saying, while it was still some water, but you should still build a well anyways, so whenever a drought does come and the water runs out, you got a well built, you know what I'm saying, and you don't gotta depend on the system coming with some water and just, you know, like, please come save us, waiting for a savior to come from the sky. You feel me? On the exclusive tape, you have. Oh man, I ain't offended, man. We just building. That's what this is about, man. We just vibing and just being open, you know, cause, you know, being offended, that means emotions. And I'm not, you know, I know emotions is energy and motion, but I'm above that. You know, I'm above emotions and letting that be the reason why we can't come together and connect and have a higher understanding, so we on the same note, you know, and find some middle ground so we could build on what a universal solution. Cause I know it's like some biased shit, like we need to focus on us, or they need to do this, but it's like we all getting shot in the foot. Like, we all spiraling down as a collective. You know, everybody on earth in a way is interconnected through nature, because who don't need water, and who don't need to breathe fresh air, and who don't need to eat real food? You know what I'm saying? So that's how I'm saying, like, we all gotta, not saying that there's not a white supremacy, and that there's not a white privilege, because, you know, in some ways, how I grew up, I ain't gonna lie, I've witnessed that, but then I've also witnessed them treating me like I'm not my skin complexion because of who I hang around and what I stand for and how I talk and just everything like that. So they treated me as if, oh, you're one of them, you're guilty by association with them black folks, so you're one of them. And I've been treated like that, and I really don't give a, I ain't gonna say I don't give a damn, but I don't want their white privilege, you know, because I'm trying to completely cut myself off from that shit. Like, I don't want nothing to do with them. I ain't trying to use them in that type of way to you know, I ain't trying to be no double agent, like me going in their system and acting like I'm cool with them just to end up doing them or something. Like, I don't want to do none of that. I want to completely just stop giving them any of my power and let them parasites starve out because of a lack of a compliant host. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's how them parasites are gonna starve, is because we're gonna stop giving them our life force. We're gonna stop empowering. We're gonna stop supporting their corporations. We're gonna stop turning on these TV channels, watching Sports Center. And I know some people are like, yeah, right, but I mean, it's priorities. What do you really care about? Do you care about being self-governed, or because if you watching Sports Center and you buying McDonald's and you doing this and that, but at the same time you talking about man, I hope Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton don't get in, or, you know, this system is wicked, or we're living in a matrix, or this and that, but you still doing things like in the steps of direction of still supporting them and not going in the way of getting back to nature and breaking away from them and liberating, then how is that not a contradiction? Do you feel me? Like, how is that not a contradiction if we're not doing things aiming in the direction of cutting the strings off of our back, not depending on their money, you know, and being self-governed, policing ourselves, teaching ourselves, knowing how to heal ourselves, so we don't gotta depend on these hospitals and stuff. They charge us an arm and a leg just for them to keep us sick, giving us these chemical acidic prescriptions with side effects that's worse than the sickness. And you feel me? That's what's up, brother Marcus? Man, it is necessary, man. We really got to, cause it's a universal problem going on. When I say universal, I mean it transcends. In a way, it's like, yeah, they treat those with more carbon or more melanin in the skin. They treat them a certain way that they wouldn't necessarily treat one like myself. But when they see that I'm standing against white supremacy, then they gonna treat me like as if my skin was darker. And if they see like an Al Sharpton or something, that's got more pigmentation, darker pigmentation, kiss their ass and help step on our toes, to help uplift the system, then they gonna give him white privilege, even though his skin color ain't like mine. So it's really it's a spiritual warfare. It's an internal thing. We gotta clean house, get right within, get our mind right, and realize that it's time to really power off of empowering these distractions and just the toxic paradigm that they got us trapped in and they got us so addicted to and in love with. You feel me? By paradigm, what I mean is like our body of habits of what we got going on. Peace and love, Queen Amina. Peace and love. Yeah, so I'm building on like how we gotta really do this paradigm shift. You feel me? Like this is very, very necessary. We so addicted to catering to the system and credit and money and in just their ways. But then if something happens like an economic collapse, we just it's like, oh, what do we do? And I mean, I feel like the more we believe that that's not a problem or we shouldn't worry about that, then the more time we're wasting by not getting back to nature, and the more of a problem it is by us thinking it's not a problem. And these mainstream distractions, like, what do they promote the most? Y'all tell me this. What do they promote the most in the media? It's racial issues and politics and the police versus the civilians, the citizens. You know what I'm saying? But they don't speak on, which, yeah, that is a problem. That is a problem. Don't get it twisted. I feel that is a problem. Why aren't they talking about Standing Rock though? Why they ain't talking about the chemtrails? Why they ain't talking about GMO? How come the person that was in Monsanto, like the government creating these genetically modified frankenfoods that's altering our DNA, how come he got ranked up to a higher position in the government? You know what I'm saying? Like, how come folks ain't talking about how cancer and strokes and stuff like that is up in the hundreds of thousands on the death toll, like the reasons for death. But when it comes to suicides, homicides, police shootings and all that, then it's like 5,000, 10,000. But things like, strokes, heart attacks, that is some man-made shit. And that's some suicide on the cool, because you got to eat unnatural foods and think unhealthy thoughts and able to have a stroke or have a heart attack. You're too full of mucus and inflamed with acidic, eating these acidic foods and everything, and just thinking negative, unhealthy thoughts, not realizing that thoughts alone can heal us or kill us. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we stressing, or we caught up in what the news got us, got planted in our subconscious, and we can't get off of that, or just the buttons. And these folks, they study our algorithms. They know what's gonna make us feel a certain way, or what's gonna piss us off, or what is gonna, look how perverted they got us. You know what I'm saying? How back in the day in Africa, a female could walk around with her titties just hanging out, and a dude could just look at her, with a straight face and have a regular conversation, respecting Mother Earth, the female version of Mother Earth. You know what I'm saying? And I'd be like, ooh, titties, nipples. It's like, oh shit. But nowadays, it's like if they see a little bit of skin, they just like, oh, it's a piece of meat. I just want to fuck. I want to smash right now. Like, what's good, baby? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the programming. And man, we gotta that's all part of cleaning house. I feel like if we clean house within, and if we mentally yeah, because they already too far in. They in too deep. They got money invested, and it's how they set up their their stance, and they don't want to seem like a flip flop. It's like, man, I invested my whole image and my whole reputation off of doing it this way. Being a Christian, or being the man that I was going to the strip club, or being all about the Bugattis and everything. And being about, just the glitz and glamour and all that. And I don't want to seem like a flip-flop by talking about starting to eat healthy and get back to nature. That's too big of a paradigm shift. You know what I'm saying? And I want to stay on the popular road where the money, cars, and clothes and the hoes at. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what's cool, and that's how I feel like I got to feed my family. And this is the mentality of folks. Not realizing that way of thinking is how the puppeteers got the strings to our back, want us to think. They want us to live that lifestyle that they programmed for us to feel is real. But really, that shit is an illusion. That shit is a mirage. Man, real talk. Because nature is what's real. All that other shit is materialistic things that come and goes. But we all really need nature. We all need trees. We all need water. That's the real shit. If we talking about real, that means we gotta have self-discipline and self-responsibility. You know what I'm saying? Peace and love. Hey, I know you see the shirt. You know what I'm saying? I know you see the shirt. That's what I'm talking about too. Heal with natural herbs, man. Oh yeah, the Oxygen Bar. If you're in Houston, Texas, go to New Waters Co-op. Sustainable Sundays from 1 to 5. And that's a big problem. And it's connected with what I'm saying too, because oxygen, we only breathing in like 21% oxygen. And a lack of oxygen is the cause of all diseases. So get you some oxygen, man. And we should be standing up for stuff like this. We shouldn't be so caught up in, man, I'm finna go spend a whole check at the strip club. Or, just some childish stuff. I'm finna buy a whole bag of herb, I said herb. That's what I called it. But a whole bag of dro or something like that. I'm finna get high as hell. Why you ain't investing in some seeds like some squash or some cabbage or some tomatoes, and invest in some land and start growing your own food, and invest in some solar panels so you don't gotta pay any electric bills. Get you a water filtration system so you don't gotta be caught up in the plumbing to where it's like if a Flint, Michigan thing happens. You feel me? So that's what I'm on. That's what I'm vibing. That's why I'm on this Facebook Live, man, trying to build with y'all so y'all could feel me. Y'all could see how I stand for real. And I ain't just all talk. Like I said before, I'm going to school, learning how to be self-sufficient, learning how to do the carpentry and electrical and all that stuff. But everybody has to have their thing that they do so they could contribute and bring it to the table, and we could all come together as one, and we could balance each other and have our own village and not need the system at all. You feel me? Like, that's the realest shit that's the realest stuff we could do. It really is. And everything else is a distraction. Watching sports, that's a distraction. Just chilling, doing nothing, just talking about nothingness, just playing dominoes. I understand. Like, I came from a neighborhood playing bones and just chilling, smoking weed all day, playing video games, like not worried about nothing. Like, man, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to work, come home, pay the bills or whatever, or go to school, come home, just chill, smoke weed, relax, try to get me a female I could go mess with or something. And then next thing you know, boom, the day is gone. I really ain't learned nothing. You know what I'm saying? And how is that being proactive? how is that really growing and developing and becoming more self-dependent? How is that self-empowering? By living a lifestyle like that, which is why I had to grow and rise above living like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why every day it's got to be about progression, and it's got to be about doing something that's aiming towards the goal, regardless what anybody says. You know what I'm saying? And I know we all got it in us. I do. I really do. We all got what it takes, but we got to get our mind focused, and our priorities and our attention has to be, we got to realize where the attention goes, the energy flows. And what we give attention to, that's the universal currency. And that's, like the water, the flows of the waves, the currency is the, it's electric. Everything's electrical circuits. It's the currency. Man, it's like, that's really, that's what really counts, man. Everything counts, but what we give our attention to, man, we gotta make sure it's really for our children's grandchildren, and it's gotta be something admirable, and we gotta do it with integrity, and we can't be doing what the system likes. It's like, yeah, man, I'm just living my life, YOLO. I only live once, so fuck it, man. I'm gonna do whatever. Like, man, I don't feel that. I got some homies that make music, you know what I'm saying? And I respect them, man, but the music they make, and I see it's a paradigm shift, like, even how they starting to make music is different, you know what I'm saying? Like, they starting to talk about, not as deep as into entertaining all the toxic paradigm and all that, but they still got one foot in and kind of a little toe barely sticking out on the other side. Rather live with a perception of reality than really. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true, Angela. That's true. But, people's perception of real to them is a reality, even though it's programmed for them to feel that way. They feel like the Matrix is the inner world. They feel like the Matrix is like how when Neo had the plug pulled out of his head and he was just like, in the internal, like in the real world, you know what I'm saying? But they feel like we in the real world, and that's really and that's the thing, they don't see this as an illusion just because we got the five senses. Like, if we get burnt, then we're gonna say ouch, or we still smell it, or we stuff like that. Like, the senses is what throws us off for us thinking that this isn't a matrix and that this isn't a system set up against us. You know what I'm saying? Peace and love, young King Alec. You know what I'm saying? Hey, much respect to you too, homie. Man, I gotta say this, man. The stuff I saw him going through with the money situation, how he had to go through the trials and everything, like the trials and tribulations. The same thing happened to me. I was selling my CDs and I had to break some money to to be able to sell my CD for $5. Then the next day I went to the gas station. And I was trying to put $5 in my tank so I could make it to my neighborhood to go get the footage from me performing the night before. And the dude at the gas station, the cashier, he got the money marker and he checked it. He was like, hold on, this is fake. And I was like, what the hell do you mean? I earned this money. They're like, no, this is fake. And there was a lawman right there. It was a police officer. And he was a rookie cop too. He was quick to come put me in handcuffs. Long story short, that little chump change was $5 or whatever, $10. Ended up costing like 5-6 racks, thousands of dollars. You know what I'm saying? And I ended up beating it, but that's just how the system is against us. Like, they don't care. And they did this to a what color, man? You see my skin? But, I see it like they could have done that to anybody, And everybody, that could have, you feel me out? That could have been my grandma. That could have been my little bro. That was me, that was you. It could have been anybody, but folks ain't aware of these type of things, and I saw you was in the newspaper, but folks was talking about it for a little bit, then it kind of faded away, and now people are talking about Kaepernick, and they talking about this, and that, but, people ain't, staying true. Like, everything just fades away, and then it's like on to the next thing, on to the next, whatever everybody's talking about, And like the followers, man, it's a lot of followers, and nobody that's why the ultimate solution, I feel like, is we need to come together. We need to use our mind to manifest and to create something. Yeah, man, it's crazy, but at the end of the day, we are self-responsible. I feel like this. I feel like we're self-responsible for doing our part to build in a way where we don't gotta live in the system no more. You know what I'm saying? We go out somewhere off the grid or somewhere far away, or you know, create our own village, get our own security, you know, get our own doctors, our own healers, our own this and that teachers and all that. And we prepare for whatever they come with or whatever like that. But we need to not depend on the system no more. Like we really can't, because the more we depend, the more we feed these parasites, the more they gonna drain us, and the more they gonna use us against us. And it's been a pattern. It's been happening for how long? But folks ain't catching on though. People don't care because it's too convenient. You know, it's like, man, it's just the way it is, man. Things ain't gonna change. It's just the way it is. And man, my parents had to go through it, and they still live life, and they were still able to eat and everything. But look how their potential was cut down so much, and look how they had to come home. Like, man, I wish I was at home chilling with my children or going on a vacation, but I was a slave on the hamster wheel and spending all my time and energy building for this corporation that's feeding me crumbs, even though I'm making them rich, but they feeding me crumbs. Like, it makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm in debt because it's credit card stuff, and now my children gonna be in debt, and it's just water over our head because the system is screwing us, you know. And I feel like if we were knowledgeable of how to do for self, you know, and how to heal ourselves with like natural herbs, because that's all we need. Like, we electric beings, we alkaline, you know, regardless the ethnicity. Like, we all got a biomolecular structure that's complemented by eating electric herbs that nourish our cells. You feel me? And we need that. So we live in a toxic paradigm of depending on Hot Pockets and TV dinners. You know what I'm saying? These processed foods, eating cakes and muffins and pizza, clone chicken. Yeah, do your schoolwork, man, but just know, do that real life work too, though. You know what I'm saying? Learn you a skill or a trade. You know what I'm saying? And just hit me anytime, little homie. Like, hit me up anytime, brother. Like, for real, man. We could build on some stuff. And man, let's make it happen. But yeah, peace and one love to Alec, man, for you, man. And anyways, back to what I was saying. We gotta be able to not need them and cut them strings off of the back. Cause ain't that what freedom is? Whenever you're not dependent on somebody else. Cause what I realize is the root of all heartache is expectations. And I don't want to I don't want to depend. When you, like, to me, being dependent and expectations is kind of like, you got to count on them. You got to expect for them to do something. You got to, you know, and I don't want to wait for a savior to come out the sky that I know ain't really a savior coming out the sky. And I know that I am the savior that got to save myself. And as a collective, we are the savior that's got to save us. We're a collective Messiah, individually and collectively. But we are fragments of the all, but, you know, all in all, like, together in oneness, that's God. You know, that's the all, that's the wholeness. You know, and we own Mother Earth, but Mother Earth owns us. And it's really not even an ownership. It's just like we gotta live in harmony with each other. We gotta live in sync with Earth. You know, as we complement Earth and Earth complements us. It's not like I'm better or this is better or whatever. We're all our own individual piece of the all. You feel me? And we gotta get out of that capitalistic hierarchy. I'm better than this or he's better than that, or that superiority complex and all that. We gotta rise above that way of thinking and realize, like, balance and polarity, not duality. Because according to my overstanding, polarity is like the sun and the moon. They different, but it's not the sun versus the moon. It's like the sun and the moon balancing each other, and they complement each other night and day, which is both needed for balance. Versus duality, where it's sun versus the moon. Like the sun tries to kill the moon and the moon tries to kill the sun. Is night versus day. And if you look, it's obvious, like the way of existence and the way people see things is like this versus that. This sports team versus that sports team. White man versus the black man. The cops versus this. Which, yeah, it kind of is that way. Like, but at the same time, it's the puppeteers that's controlling both sides to go against each other, instead of both of them sides coming together to look at the people that's really, working the strings to have us turn against each other and stuff. Like, I don't be watching a lot of movies, but I watched this one time. I watched this movie, I think Captain America or Iron Man or some Civil War, where they were going against each other, but it was really this one dude like manipulating them from behind the scenes. Then Black Panther, he caught on to that stuff, and he was like, hold on, man, you got me consumed with vengeance and everything, but this whole time I'm facing them thinking that they doing it, and they thinking I'm the enemy and everything, but we all getting controlled and manipulated by yo ho ass. You know what I'm saying? Then he caught on to that. And it's like the Wizard of Oz. The man behind the screen. Or in this situation, it's a few little families of rich billionaire white folks. You know what I'm saying? And just full of greed and just really unnatural. And they know their time is up because they've been so out of natural alignment. They know